Hello, and welcome back to the farm. It's come to my attention that there may be a shortage of seeds for these little pumpkins. These are Cherokee tans that we grow here at the farm. And so, should you be able to get some seed either late this year or next year, I want to show you how to save the seeds that you do get. Because with the way things are going, who's to say whether they'll be available again? The tools you're going to need: you're going to need a knife, a bowl, and a spoon. Just between me and you, let's not tell Mrs. Possum Ridge Farms we have that down here. Shh. And a strainer. This is Mrs. Possum Ridge Farms strainer as well, but she doesn't use this that often. She won't miss this. This particular pumpkin was a critter. Somebody tried to get it. It tore the top off, which is not really what you want. And we've gotten some bugs in it. So we're going to cut it up. We're going to take the seeds out. We're going to feed it out. It's going to go bad anyway. It's almost bad now. So let's give it a shot. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our pumpkin open. Let's see how bad it is on the inside. These guys are pretty tough, so you got to really be careful how you do this. Of course, always having a sharp knife is a kind of a necessity. And so let's just see what we got in here. Ooh. And so there's our bug that was in there. Ick. But we're going to get our seeds out just like you would a normal jack-o'-lantern. Lots of goo in here, lots of good stuff for them to eat, depending on how much they get. So let's scoop this out and see how many seeds we can get out of this. By the way, saving seed is pretty much the same across all vegetables. Remember, what happens with seed is at the end of the year, your vegetable dies after it's produced fruit, and this stuff rots in the ground, the seeds fall out and they grow again next year. So we don't exactly emulate what nature does, but we're pretty close. I digress. You can see how icky this is on the inside. If that bothers you, well, better suck it up. All right, there's a lot of seeds out of that side. Let's see what we got over here. Now some of you are going to say, well, this is just a little bitty pumpkin. Well, I got news for you. Cherokee tan doesn't get very big, but you sure get a lot of them. I made a video here a week or two ago about using them for livestock feed. Well, they also taste really, really good. I'm going to take all the junk out of the inside. I'm going to leave some for the chickens. Don't really want any volunteer. Sometimes you got to dig in here. Don't really want any volunteer Cherokee tans out with the chickens. The chickens just kill them anyway, probably. Although they're pretty indestructible, I have to give them that. They are hard to get. They're hard to kill off. Even new gardeners have a hard time killing this one off, I'd suspect. And that's probably enough seeds. Don't really see much more. Just like a typical pumpkin, you eat the flesh after you skin it, is what they put in pies and stuff. So there's just a few left in here. Let's get out what we can get out. And there we go. Now we have a bowl full of pumpkin goo and seeds. Now what are we going to do? Well, we're going to root around in here and get out as much as we can of the goo. I like that word. Goo that's around the seed, and then we're going to go rinse the seed off. So I'm going to grab the strainer, which, well, we know where that came from, and we're going to put our seeds, oh yeah, this is the icky part. You're going to get icky when you do this. So I go through and try to get as much of the seed into the strainer as I can. And I'll feed the rest of it out. Any goo that's left over, chickens just eat it up. Ducks will too, but mostly chickens. They really like this. The goats eat anything, so that's not really a problem. But cows, no, not so much. And we're going to get, I don't know, 50 seeds out of here or something. And so if you do exactly as I tell you today, you'll never have to buy Cherokee tan pumpkin seeds. Again, now this works well on open pollinated varieties. You can save seeds from hybrids as well. But remember, hybrids do not reproduce well. If you get seeds from a hybrid, not just pumpkin, but anything, no telling what you'll get the next year when you plant them. You might get better, but most of the time you get worse. Especially like tomatoes or something, most of those are hybrid. Although we do grow some open pollinated varieties from time to time. And you can save those seeds, but the hybrid ones you really don't want to save. It's starting to, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's certainly starting to shape up here. And your hands get really slimy. Really slimy doing this. But it's worth it when you get your seeds. Remember, this pumpkin has been out of the garden maybe a few days until I had time to make this video. And so it's pretty fresh. So these seeds are very viable. That looks like about all those seeds. Now I did spill a couple, so we'll put them in here. And let's see if I can get any more seed out of here. There's a couple left in the bad piece. Let me dig them out. Especially if there's going to be a shortage of seed, I don't want to be in the middle of that should something go awry and our pumpkins have a problem next year and we need extra seed. Let's go to the next step. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our seeds and we're going to put them hopefully in our custom strainer holder, which also doubles as a baby goat feeder in the early spring. And we're going to put water and clean these things off the best we can. So let's do that. Cleaning the goobers off the best we can here. Making a mess too. But as you can see, hopefully you can see, we are cleaning as much of the orange goo off as we can. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better. Now we've been using the same technique, sorry, there's a red wasp chasing me, the same technique to save seed irregardless of what vegetable we're trying to save it with for years and years and years. People say, well, you can't do it. It's like, it's kind of an art. But for the most part, if you keep in mind what nature does, you'll be fine. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to clean these seeds up a little better. They're pretty icky. Now, it's going to require a roll of paper towels, newspaper, you know, junk mail, stuff from the government. Usually pretty good for this, just saying. But we're going to try to wipe these off just a little bit better. And by just kind of patting them around, you'll get a lot of the really nasty stuff that's left from your washing out. It just kind of sticks to the paper towel. You can kind of see. Now, with that said, we're never going to get it all. That's just kind of how this process works. And so we got some of it. We didn't get all of it, but you can see on the paper towel, there's a whole bunch left. And so we want to make sure we get all our seeds out. And some people will run their seeds in hot water. I'm not big on hot water for this process when you clean them up. But I mean, it's entirely up to you. All right, we're going to take a couple sheets of this case paper towels and we're going to set them down right here. What we're going to do is we're going to take our seeds out. Make sure they're not too goobered up real bad, and we're going to sprinkle them onto our paper towel. I'll put this over here. And so by doing that, we're going to leave these things out to dry. Now, they're pretty wet right now, and if they stayed wet, eventually, if we left them alone, they'd probably sprout, which would be bad in late September here in the Mid-South. Not a good time to grow pumpkins. And what I will do with these is I will take them up to the house. And I will set these in a room. Humidity is much, much lower in the house, thank heavens. By the way, our humidity today, today is the 28th of September, it's about 80%. And it's only about 90 degrees, so I mean, at least the temperature is not too hot. But I will take it up, put these in a room with a ceiling fan. And I will let these seeds sit for as long as it takes. Now, while they're sitting, every so often, I will come up and move them around. Why would I do that? Because they stick to the paper towel if you don't. They still, as much cleaning and all the other things that you were doing, you never get all of the stuff off of it. That's how nature meant it to be, by the way. And so we're going to allow these to dry. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get ready and I'm going to feed what's left right here to my favorite chickens. And hopefully in the morning they will reward me with a whole bunch of eggs. Usually we get an 18 to 24 a day, but we'll see. Remember, when feeding Cherokee tan pumpkins, when you have a solid, good pumpkin, you've got to break it open for them, because a lot of times you can throw it out there and they can't get in it because they're so doggone hard. These pumpkin, or this particular pumpkin, was bad, so it's not going to be an issue. Contrary to popular belief, saving seed is not hard at all. We've been doing it forever. Yeah, there are some nuances, tomatoes are a little harder, whatever, but for the most part, if you do exactly what we did in this video, for just about any seed, they'll be ready for next year. Ensure that you have open pollinated varieties, and for the most part, works every time. Until next time, see you down at the barn.